Previously, we left off in the south of Ireland visiting Peter's sister Jane. Now we want to circumnavigate Ireland, focusing on the Wild Atlantic Way on the west coast. So we'll be moving from Schull to Kells, and Kells is over on the Ring of Kerry in the southern peninsula as part of the Wild Atlantic Way. There are standing stones and stone monuments all around Ireland, and they were thought to be used primarily for ritual ceremonies. This is the altar stone, 3rd century BC.
2,000 to 3,000 plus 2,000, which is 4,000 to 5,000 years old, so it's older than the pyramids. It's not quite as magnificent as the pyramids. How many drunken Irishmen could lift that stone up, is the question.
So this is the Wild Atlantic coast on the southern west coast of Ireland, just south of Schull, the town of Schull, near Kirkhaven. So many towns you travel through are picture postcard, and Kenmare is definitely one of them. Their brightly colored pubs and shop-lined streets make it a wonderful place to visit. We stumbled across this avoca shop several times, and it turns out it's the original mill from Ireland back from the 1700s. Over the years they've diversified and now have boutique shops all across Ireland. There are many national parks scattered across Ireland, but this one here, Killarney National Park, it was the first one to be established. I wish we had some time to spend more time walking around. It was beautiful as we drove through. We were happy to find electric car charging outside the park on our way to Kells. One of the best things about traveling through Ireland was that it was easy to find houses for rent that were in remote locations out on the edge of the Atlantic. This one was probably an example of the best one that we found, with the best views of the sea and a really comfortable place to stay and cook for ourselves. Because of the time of year, it was January and February, we had some great dramatic weather with snow and fog and lots of rain.
west coast of Ireland, and we're looking over to the Dingle Peninsula, just to the north of us. It's an absolutely stunning place. This is a dead-end road, and all there is up here is a few sheep and people trying to stay away from crowds. This is all sea down here, which you can't quite see. It's absolutely flat as a mill pond, and the fog is just a layer. You can see the hills, but you can't see the sea down here. But because of the fog, you just can't quite make it out.
And over there is Skellig Island, and that's where they filmed Star Wars, where they walked up the steps on this island to get to Luke Skywalker, the elder Luke Skywalker.
I was really happy to catch the neighbor bringing his sheep in with a sheepdog, and he was shouting out orders to his dog, who was clearly following left and right, up and down, and it was really, really cool to watch. While we would have loved to keep exploring northward on the Wild Atlantic Way, however, the car rental agencies in Europe only allow you to have a car out for 28 days, so we had to drive back into Dublin, where we rented the car, simply to do the paperwork again, to then come back to the west coast and enjoy some more sights. However, as a result, we did get to meet the owners of this cottage, which is called John's Dairy. It was probably the most comfortable place we stayed. It was small and cozy, and had an on-site sheep farm. We saw a lot of wind turbines, and I read that 4 gigawatts, or nearly a quarter of all of the electricity demand, is met with wind power in Ireland. We took a tour of a famine ship to learn more about the Great Famine, which occurred about 175 years ago. Potato blight is thought to be the cause of the mass starvation, and it seemed to be exacerbated by political influences from the United Kingdom as well. The event had the effect of reducing the population by about 25%, about 1 million emigrated, another million passed away. These ships, which were originally intended to carry cargo, would carry passengers as they emigrated over to Canada or America. They were often over capacity, and people did die on these ships because it would take up to 4 weeks to get over the Atlantic Ocean.
Crew would sleep in the bow of the boat, but you got an anchor chain here.
The journey was difficult. Steerage would cost about 3 to 4 pounds per passenger, and you had to bring all of your own food and take care of your own waste.
Okay.
How many lampposts have I taken out?
About 3. You're driving for the first time on the left-hand side. Are you okay?
It's not the first time. First time in a long time.
First time in a long time. You don't look very confident, and you're really scaring me.
It's all for your benefit.
Slow down here.
What?
Slow down. Brake. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, hard left here.
I can see the road.
Yeah, but
Oh, what
not
side am I
really.
driving on again? Left or the right?
that's not funny. You just swung completely on the right-hand side of the road there.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
You're making it up.
I'm gonna fill my pants in a minute. Hey, Mr. Sheepy. Nah.
While driving back near Dublin, we took the opportunity to see another national park. We went to the Wicklow National Park, which is the largest contiguous mountain ranges within Ireland.
That's where a trout would live, right in there behind that rock.
On our way back to the Wild Atlantic Way on the west coast, we had decided to stop by Clonmacnoise, a monastery which had significant importance as a center for religion and theologian scholars. They have 3 high crosses on site, like this replica one, which are Celtic crosses back from the medieval times. Now that we're back on the Wild Atlantic Way, we'll move further up north to the area called the Cliff Coast.
We're in Ireland on the west coast in a town called Kilkee, just south of the cliffs of Moher. But we heard that these cliffs are even better because you just get to walk right along the cliffside. But just make sure you don't get too close to the cliffs and you're okay.
It's bloody freezing. She's walking me like a doggy.
I'm seeing a lot of anti-depression placards as we walk along this trail.
What?
I don't know.
It's a good thing that the wind is blowing us away from the cliffs, because last week we heard that somebody got blown into the sea off the cliffs.
The cliff range runs about 8 miles long, and at its highest point is about 700 feet high.
Sunny Ireland. So we're at the beach at Dunbrody in Ireland, south of Galway, and this behind us is the Trump golf resort where he's apparently losing lots of money. It's low tide right now, but it's quite a noise. When the tide comes in, it's a really loud noise because the beach is then a bunch of these huge rounded stones.
Peter did some beachcombing and even found some shark egg pods. The Burren National Park is the smallest of the 6 national parks in Ireland. It comprises hundreds of feet of uniquely formed sedimentary rock. Even though Easter is still 2 months away, the stores are packed with the Easter eggs. We've resisted the temptation so far, but as an American, I have never seen chocolate eggs so big. I think we found the best apartment to stay in Galway. We stayed on the edge of a peninsula at the intersection of 2 rivers, overlooking all the action. Galway is Ireland's 4th largest city, and it has a reputation for being vibrant and artistic.
So we're in downtown Galway, and there's just bar after bar after bar after bar, and a lingerie shop.
Peter and I both agree that Ireland has the best pub culture, even better than Scotland and England. And the live pub music makes you feel even more at home and welcome, almost as if you're sitting in the living room with them.
There's a couple of boys in the
We also found the best chai latte in town while we waited for an errand to be done for the boat.
We're looking for a piece of hardwood for a step so we can clamber up the side of Chloe without having to get some outside steps.
Moving on from the cliff coast, we move on to the next grouping of headlands known as the Bay Coast. The recent cold snap made for a great drive up to the Bay Coast with the snow-covered mountain peaks as we drove along. Great scenery with some foreshadowing of what was to come in the next national park up ahead, the Connemara National Park. in the Connemara National Park on the west coast of Ireland, and it's a hill walk basically. At about 4 kilometers round trip, it was the perfect day hike, and the trails were clear and easy to walk.
My legs are burning and they feel like mush.
They seem okay, they're not wobbly.
Oh man, this one walk is about 4 or 5 kilometers up the hill. It's a lovely path. The trail is extremely well maintained. Fantastic.
But I'm imagining it in warmer times. The entire hillside is covered in heather. So imagine this, instead of brown, it would be purples and pinks. Absolutely beautiful.
We made it!
Yes, once again, we have to leave the Wild Atlantic Way to go back to Dublin because 28 days have passed and we have to go back to the rental car agency to re-register the car with them. But once again, we got to meet somebody really special. This time, it was Star the kitten.
So we've just crossed over the border from Ireland into Northern Ireland, and the speed limits have all crashed. They've all dropped very significantly. And then I realized that we've just changed from kilometers per hour to miles per hour on the speed limits. But it took a little while for me to figure that out. So now we're driving through towns with 30 miles per hour instead of 30 kilometers per hour, which would be kind of ridiculous.
And finally, we'll finish off with the Surf Coast and the Northern Headland.
I climbed a rope for a fountain cup, some pots and frying pans, and a chest of tea for Muskilday and mousetrap for down strand. So fare you well, I'll go afford in bidding you goodbye. And the next man to drive you, I wish him every joy. For when you're strapped in Dublin, I often will recall all the days and nights that I spent with you in the wilds of
Although the Slieve League doesn't receive the same notoriety as the Moher Cliffs do, their cliffs are almost 3 times as high as those of the Moher Cliffs and just as beautiful, if not more. Claim to fame is also that they're the highest sea cliffs within Europe. We didn't realize it, but we arrived at the wrong parking lot and walked up the backside of the hill up to the top of Slieve League. The other parking lot was where the manicured tarmacked pavement was, so we think we got the better walk. just finishing up in Ireland here, and in a couple weeks we're going to be headed back over to Cherbourg in France. The boat is just about finished, and Ireland will be the last country we visit before we pick up the boat. So the next time you see us, you'll see us on Chloe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.